Whit, we did it.
We're here, baby.
You went ahead and snapped a photo of us at the urinals. I was looking at your Fitbit. I apologize to my kids and my wife. We're getting fired up to go inside and eat Uncrustables. That's my biggest issue with the pregame speech.
We played the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. I've dreamed of the moment that I could block Ray Lewis, and I got sideswiped by so many Baltimore Ravens. I thought I was getting jumped in an alley. Is there a lot of bald, beautiful, bearded, sexy men playing in the league right now? Or
there aren't a lot in this world.
Are we doing a podcast? Oh, now y'all tell me. Welcome to Fitz and Whit, a Wave Sports and Entertainment original. We're your hosts, Andrew Whitworth and Ryan Fitzpatrick. We got new episodes coming to you every Monday. Subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Follow the show on social media at Fitz and Whit. What's up, my man?
Whit, we did it. We made it. We've been talking about this for
baby.
2.5 years, and we finally committed to it. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully you guys like it. Coming up on this episode, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to explain what to expect going forward for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. That's going to be interesting after what happened this morning. We're going to talk about Jayden Daniels and that insane Hail Mary. And I'm going to teach you how to give a proper pregame speech. I know you've given a few of those in your day, Whit. I've only given one on the field.
I'm surprised by that. I kind of feel like Fitz magic. You'd be giving a lot of speeches. But,
man, I'm not a big circle around, listen to me guy. But
I think
anyway,
you might put a little too much thought into
later.
it, but we'll see.
All right. So we decided to do this. We've been talking about it for 2.5 years. Because I feel like I finally found somebody that I would like to do this with. Whit and I have been really good buddies. We played on the Bengals together, and you'll notice the white Bengal tiger stripes that we have on the little image of our podcast. The Bengals today, the all-white unis. We were hoping for a better game from them. They had the whiteout, Joe Burrow, but it didn't work out. I think they're some of the coldest uniforms in the league, but they're not as cool when you get blown out by the Eagles at home. So anyway, Andrew Whitworth and I, for those of you that don't know, former teammates on the Bengals. We were also known as White Bengals.
Stop. I hate it when you do this to me. And you said it on one of our first times on air on Thursday Night Football when we were there for a game in Cincinnati. And ever since then, we've kind of considered ourselves, you know what? Yeah, we were White Bengals, but we were also rare cats. So when you see us and our many, many pictures in white stripes, you'll know what it's all about. But Fitz, last week, we had an opportunity to kick this thing off, talk about doing it. A great week in L.A., a chance to catch a Clippers game. We got to see the Rams and Puka Nacua back in the house, baby. That was an amazing moment.
Let's talk about the Clippers game real quick.
Okay, let's get to Puka. It. Into it, Dome, baby.
So this whole wall thing, if I'm doing a vibe check, now you're an LA guy and I am not. I live in Arizona. I don't think I've ever been to a Lakers game. I don't know how many LA sporting events other than football games I've been to. I expected a little bit more out of the fans and the experience. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if that's an LA fan vibe or what that was, but it seemed like they were disinterested a little bit.
Yeah, it was kind of a boring game. I mean, the stadium's amazing. It looks beautiful. I'm sure there's
Hold on. You keep calling it a stadium. It's an arena.
I do keep saying that. It's an arena, Fitz. How many times are you going to fix me on that? Come on. You got to help me out. Anyways, it's beautiful, but it was dead, Fitz. I mean, I almost took a nap. That was bad.
The most interesting part about it was the fact that Ballmer, I think it was $2 billion plus. They're bragging about how many toilets are in there. Toilets and urinals. There's over 1,400. You went ahead and snapped a photo of us at the urinals. I do just want to defend myself to say I was looking at your Fitbit just to see how many steps you had for that day. I thought you did a lot of walking, and I just wanted to make sure that you recorded them all in your Fitbit. So that's what it was. There was nothing more than that. I apologize to my kids and my wife. Wasn't looking at anything but the Fitbit.
Yeah, I'm not giving this story any more air. Anyways, so the next night, though, we got a chance to go to SoFi Stadium, which is a stadium, Fitz.
Yep.
And the Los Angeles Rams got it done against the Minnesota Vikings. And we had a pretty cool moment with Puka Nacua after the game. That was fun, man. That dude brought some juice.
You were telling me about your dinner with him. It was you, him, and Sherm a couple of weeks before, and I had never met him. You said Sherm was talking his ear off, and they were just going back and forth. But I mean, he's like a little kid. That was the best interview I think we've done in 3 years on set, just with the energy that he brought. And he kept calling everybody coach, which made me feel really old. But yeah, he was infectious, man. I really liked that.
Yeah, man, that was awesome. That was a fun night, and it led into this weekend, Fitz. So what'd you think?
Well, let's start with my guy, Jameis Winston. I've kind of been clamoring for this all year. You know, unfortunately, he gets his opportunity because of an injury. You never love to see that, especially as former players. But what did he do? He goes against arguably the best team in the AFC, takes them down in the last 2 minutes, throws a touchdown when everybody's expecting them just to get in field goal range and kick a field goal. They beat the Ravens 29-24. He's 27 for 41, 334 yards, 2 touchdowns. This is the first time all year that the Browns have scored over 20 points in a game. They were lifeless. They were 1-6. There was no hope. But that's what Jameis Winston gives you, Whit, is hope.
He does do that and a whole lot else. I mean, we got the whole experience in this game, Fitz. I mean, just a few plays before the game winner, we got to throw to Kyle Hamilton that I fell out of my chair. My wife's like, what just happened? And I go, I don't know if I've ever seen somebody clear. He actually just threw him a ball. Like, that wasn't a pick. It wasn't a bad throw. It looked like he just threw Kyle Hamilton a ball, and Kyle Hamilton somehow didn't catch it. And what do we know? What do you think's going to happen? You give Jameis Winston another chance? Oh, yeah, you're going down.
Yeah, so they ran cover 0 4 different times right at the end there. First one, he dirtied a screen. Second one, he completes it for a first down. The third one was a throw to Kyle Hamilton, which was tough. But like you said, I mean, any quarterback, but especially Jameis, who is really talented, you give him that many looks at the same defense. They blocked it up. They gave him a little bit of time, and he throws the touchdown. It still wasn't over, though. Lamar did a great job driving him down, but amazing work by our guy, J-Boo. And I am so excited to have Jameis back in the lineup. Yes, for his play. Yes, to watch him on every Sunday. But the pregame speeches. And we got a beauty of a pregame interview.
Unwavering faith, ultimate belief, depending on the Lord. That's all we got.
You told me no nerves, just excitement and butterflies. Still feel that way?
Unwavering faith, ultimate belief, dependence on the Lord.
The message is clear, guys. Thank you, Jameis.
Unwavering faith, ultimate belief.
Represent the name on the back of your jersey, Fitz, and the decal on your helmet. Wait, we ain't got decals on our helmet, but y'all know what I'm saying.
So that's what I love about Jameis. And I think when you listen to speeches, you want somebody to be authentic.
Yep.
Now, he definitely practices throughout the week. He's definitely looking in the mirror at himself. As you could tell, he's looking through the camera there in that interview. But there is 5% of him that has self-awareness too. The decal line was hilarious because he realizes it in his head, but he really is like that all the time. He works his ass off all the time. He cares about it, and guys respond to it. So I'm excited to see all of this. I mean, you've played for some guys too. Andy Dalton comes to mind, throwing out big time pregame speech.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3, let's go. Look, love Andy. Pre-game speech is not his deal. All right. Love Andy to death. Great human being. Him and his wife, JJ, but not his thing. A couple let's goes and you hit the field. But I did play with Bobby Williams, the boss man, who
Yeah.
And the boss man, listen, it might not have had much logic, whatever the heck came out of his mouth, but there was a lot of energy, buddy. There was a lot of energy and self-belief in what he thought was going to happen that day. What would you say, Fitz, is a great speech? What do you think it's got to be made out of? What do you think's got to make up a great pregame speech?
I sent you a text earlier. Okay, so here's my components of a great pregame speech. So first of all, you make sure the team's circled around you, right? And then you got to make sure that there's a camera that's inside the circle and it's in a good position just to make sure that everybody can see you. Your helmet has to be off, right? I think it's really important to have 1 or 2 hype men. And those are young guys in the back positioned.
Uh-hs.
So
yeah, that's right.
But it's the camera,
Talk to
it's
'em.
you. They got to be behind
those.
you, but in view of the camera. Yes. So it's the talk to
Yeah,
them
yeah,
guys.
100%.
It's the nod
Talk
the
to
head
'em.
guys. You've got to have a message that resonates. You got to repeat everything 3 times, no less than 3 times. Usually you'll end the sentence in man. And at the end, you say whatever the breakdown's going to be on 3. But now all the guys are saying, win on me, win on 3, 1, 2, 3, win. But that was my biggest issue with the pregame speech. And I'm okay with it because it works for some guys. It's not for me. Is when do the pregame speeches happen? The ones that we see on TV, when do they happen in pregame?
As you're going back in the locker room?
Yes.
I don't know.
So you call everybody up.
I'm going to go sit down and eat a peanut butter chunk or like a banana and then sip on some Gatorade.
That's my issue. So it's like, hey, so we're getting fired up to go inside and eat Uncrustables. And we're going to sit there for 20 minutes and then come back out. That's my biggest issue with the pregame speech.
Hey, some of us get excited to eat, Fitz. Watch yourself.
I know, but I will ask you because I know that you gave a bunch of these. It wasn't for me, but there were a lot of guys on the team that need it. There are a lot of guys on the team that expect it. I was back there, in a certain frame of mind, just trying to be real steady, real level. Didn't need to get fired up because I wasn't hitting anybody anyways. But tell me why you felt the pregame speech was important.
Well, I'll say this. I've had some good ones in my day. I like to get fired up a little bit, and I can turn the inflection on in my voice quickly. But I would say that, there was a couple of other essentials. If you're on the road, you always got to throw in something about it being just us. It's just us against the world, right?
Yep.
So you got to rally the guys around. And then when you're at home, there's got to be something like, lock the door, like throw away the keys and let's go. You got to bring the heat, right? Like close this bitch up and don't let anybody out. You know what I mean? And so you got to bring a little of that, so I had a couple instances of those, but I had some buddies in town. Remember in Cincinnati, we had the little walkway where you went throughout the tunnel. They got some pregame passes. They got to sit there. And I went with one of the lock the doors, dropped a couple of F-bombs, went nuts.
Oh,
the whole team runs out the tunnel. And I turn around to these guys and just like give them all 5 and give them hugs. And they're like, what the hell? Now you're nice? And I was like, listen, buddy. They don't call me the governor for nothing, okay? So you got to be able to turn it up, man. Get the guys going. Sometimes the young guys need that, Fitz. They need a little juice.
I know. And so I'm going to tell you this. This is the secret, and this isn't my stuff. This is Aristotle's, but it's called the rhetorical triangle. There's 3 things: ethos, pathos, and logos, okay? And let me explain them to you. Ethos. Does the pregame speaker have the knowledge and credibility for you to trust what they say? If I see you out there talking Whit, I respect what you do. I respect what you've done. You've got the credibility. You've got the ethos. It's usually going to be a leader on your team that's doing it, not some rookie. Okay, wonderful. Pathos. That's putting the players listening in a certain frame of mind. Were you able to accomplish that? Lock the door. Love it. It's really just like a vibe check, the pathos of the speech. And then the logos. Are you using evidence or reasoning in your pregame speech that makes sense? And so I did one pregame speech, I told you, in my entire career on the field. Hated it, wasn't a fan of it.
After I left Buffalo, these 3 things before you start speaking, did you?
I did in my mind. I knew it had to have all 3. And I was pretty sure I had the ethos because Brian Cushing and J.J. Watt asked me to give the speech. We were at home.
They set you up?
They did, and the reason they did is because we were at home against the Buffalo Bills. First time I had played against the Bills since I was there. So they didn't give me a whole lot of time to prepare. It was about a 20-yard trot, and you know how I waddle when I run, for me to figure out what the hell I was going to say to these guys. So going over ethos, pathos, logos in my mind, I knew I had the ethos because they asked me to do it. Now, the pathos part of it, I didn't know what to do. All I knew is I had to say the F word. I had to scream. And I just came out with something like, you know what this means? This means something to me. And if you care about me, and voices cracking. And I had DJ Swearinger. You remember him?
Oh, yeah.
So he was the guy in the back that was feeling it.
He was supposed to be your hype man?
He was my hype man. Like, that's the only reason it worked, because DJ was in the background. And then the reasoning of my pregame speech made no sense, but I think it did the trick, but never again. That's not me.
You know what? Let's just leave it there, okay?
Okay.
We'll say that. And also today, Kirk Cousins gave one. I will say that before we move on.
We fight no cap. We fight no cap. We walk in your trap, take over your trap. We walk in your trap, take over your trap. We grind the trap. We grind the trap. We fight no cap. We fight no cap. We walk in your trap, take over your trap. We walk in your trap, take over your trap. We walk in your trap, take over your trap. We walk in your trap, take over your trap.
The no cap really, Kirk Cousins saying no cap got me. That was interesting.
He's different. He's different. He's wearing beanies and chains and yeah, it's all good.
No, I'm done with it. All right, listen, let's move on. We got one that you and I have talked about for the last few weeks. I feel like this keeps coming up. I've heard you praise the situation of the last week. You were really hard on the situation the weeks before, and all of a sudden I felt like you kind of bought in. You bit the hook a little bit. He got you.
He did.
The Jets fall to 2-6 and lost to the Patriots, Fitz. 25-22. How's you feeling about your boy Aaron? Because I saw you tweet out after his "I gotta be a great leader" speech on this past week that you were ready, you were bought in, you thought this was the turn. Here we go. And Rodgers just went his 31st game without throwing for 300 yards, which is just crazy to think about. Where are you at with it?
Well, I was pretty critical after the whole Mike Williams calling him out, get on the red line, because I just don't, and I know that me and you both agree on this, like that's not leadership to me. Like you're not going to get the best out of dudes. But then he comes the next week and he says, whoa, we're playing too tight. We got to play we got to have a little bit more fun out there. Devontae Adams gives the speech after being there for 4 days, and now he's the leader of the locker room. But I bought in. I felt like that was the rallying cry they needed to turn the season around. Now, I did know who they were playing next. Right. And so I chalked up a win versus New England and was really hoping they were coming into our Thursday night game this week against Houston with a little bit of juice. I went on Twitter and I said, 10-7. They're going to be 10-7, obviously before the loss today. I bought into Aaron's speech. I thought they were going to turn it around. Didn't happen. So here's my question to you, Whit. So I think we're officially on Aaron Rodgers denouement watch now. And what I mean by that is Aaron came here because he thought that the Jets were a team that could compete for the Super Bowl. So if they find themselves out of the playoff race, whenever that may be, he can't win the Super Bowl anymore. He can't add to his legacy. What is the dude going to do? Like, is there a point in the season where he just says, look, I'm not playing anyway next year. I'm kind of hurting. I've been banged up and beat up all year. We don't have a chance at the playoffs. It was fun, but see you later. Do you see any world in which that happens?
Here's what I would say. I do understand that theory. I wasn't ever in that position late in my career. Obviously, I was playing in my 40s as well. So I understand that at the end of my career, it was a lot tougher to get up for games. It was a lot more of a stress to be like, man, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Just, in general, on your body. But I got to believe all the things he talks about, all the things he says. I just got to believe his legacy. I know we're talking about, well, what if they, don't win a lot of games the rest of the year? What's his legacy going to be? But to me, the legacy he's really going to be left with is all the success is really all people are going to talk about 5 years from now. I mean, his Super Bowl, the MVPs, all those things. But to me, that's not what you go to sleep with. I don't go to sleep with the Super Bowl victory. I don't go to sleep with some of the games we won. I go to sleep with the moments of like, man, did I back out in certain moments or did I give all I had? Like I even think of my time in Cincinnati compared to my time in LA. Like how much devotion I had to just being the best teammate possible in LA. Was I always that way in Cincinnati? Like I still think about those things. So to me, I just hope he stays in and he realizes that this final year, regardless of how it goes, all the things he talks about, these darkness retreats, all these, explorations of life he goes on, like these will be the moments that you will remember as who you were based off of what you said you were there for. And so to me, I just got to believe since that's what he is talked about so much, he'll back it up. Because I say this all the time when I have a chance to speak at different things and say, man, one of my favorite quotes in the world that challenges me daily is, you can teach what you know, but you'll only ever replicate who you are. And so to me, like, that's what it's all about in leadership. And so I think he has a great opportunity to leave an organization with a great taste in their mouth, regardless of how success went, but in the way that he finishes this season, regardless. Because let's be honest, they got a 1% chance of making the playoffs right now. Teams that start 2-6, 1.6%. But what's the rest of this year look like?
Well, I'll say this, though. I don't have the luxury of sleeping with a Super Bowl trophy like you do, Andrew. I don't have the luxury of sleeping with any playoff games.
Are you just going to leave Walter out of this? All right, keep going.
All I have is my reputation, what my teammates think of me, how I treated them, and how I gave everything I could to the game. So that, to me, is what really hurts when I see somebody like this. It's so important to the history of our game. That's so important with the Super Bowl victory that he had and the 4 MVPs, to not put that thing of being a great teammate and giving I'm not saying he's not giving everything he has, but not putting that first, not making it the most important thing, is trying to figure out the here and now with your teammates. That part is why I threw that tweet out there, and it really hurt me, because that's essentially what my career was based on. Obviously, my success, nowhere near his, not even in the same stratosphere, but I did know how to move from team to team, and I did know how to win over a locker room. And
that's why you call it Fitz magic, buddy.
I'm just telling you, it's not the way to do it the way he's doing it. I want to put one more stat out there in your mind that I thought was really interesting. So Davante Adams, they obviously, in the last 20 years, I mean, they're probably a top 3 duo in terms of their chemistry and the way they've played, the way they've connected, not just receptions and yards, but in the end zone, friends off the field. So in 2 games now with the Jets, he's got 15 targets and 7 catches. Okay. Now let me throw this out there to you. Khalil Shakir, Buffalo, who Tony Gonzalez likes to call Shakira on accident.
Shakira, he does.
He has, in the last 2 seasons, in the regular season, 83 targets and 75 receptions. So when we're talking about chemistry, in 83 targets, he's only missed 8 of them.
That's crazy.
And now we're looking at Davante Adams, 15 targets. He's also missed 8 of them. That, to me, says they're just not there yet. But it also shows and highlights how amazing Khalil Shakir has been and his connection with Josh Allen, which, by the way, Buffalo, 6 wins. Everybody else in the division, 2 wins. I don't know when the earliest somebody has ever locked up a division, but it looks like it might be happening in the horrendous AFC East.
We had a pretty good one in 2009. I don't remember how early it was, but in 2009 we had a pretty good run. I think we were 6-0 in the division and had a pretty good lead early in the year. So, but this will be early. Those will be there. But not only that, but you really look at all of their situations. I mean, Buffalo's most in line to win right now. I mean, look at their schedule. Look at really the trade they made with Amari Cooper. Like, they're in position right now to win a lot of football games. They don't play outside of Buffalo against many good teams the rest of the season. So they're in a great position to win.
Yeah. What about this with the Commanders? So they beat
LSU,
the Bears,
baby.
But I mean, it's a crazy ending of the game, right? The Bears score, but before that, the Bears decided to hand the ball off to their offensive lineman playing fullback, which didn't work out very well.
Come on, Shane. I love you, man. Please.
Shane Waldron,
can't do that, Shane. I love you, though.
But then he becomes the hero. Caleb gets the ball back. They go down. They score. I'm ready to turn the game off. And to be honest, I missed the last Hail Mary because I didn't think they had a chance, but I heard my boys in the background yelling, and so I had to run back into the room. But holy crap, how far was that ball that he threw, Whit? That was
it looked like it was about 70 yards he threw this ball. I mean, that was insane. Because even watching the tape back, I'm thinking, where did he throw that from? Because of the time that was left. I think there was about 3 or 4 holds in there, so they gave him a little bit of time to get it off. But unbelievable.
So I've never ever completed a Hail Mary in my life.
Really?
I don't
no Hail
think
Marys.
No, I don't think I ever saw one. Have you ever?
You got some game winners, though.
A couple game winners, but my range is like from the plus 30. If we're outside the plus 35, I'm going to have a hard time getting it to the end zone. You may have to bring in a younger, fresher arm to be able to get it to the end zone. But you have been a part of a Hail Mary, correct?
I have, and I'm pretty sure, Fitz, if it was past 35 yards, your eyes were usually closed at that point anyway. So,
yes, that is true.
Eyes closed, letting it rip. I have, and LSU Tigers, baby. Let's go. Jayden Daniels, unbelievable. But when I was back as a young, spry LSU Tiger, I was a freshman starter for the LSU Tigers. We had just, my redshirt year, won the SEC championship. The next year, we're having a pretty good season. We lose our quarterback, Mac Mock, to an injury, and Marcus Randall is starting for us at the University of Kentucky. They kick a late field goal to take a lead, Fitz. And with 12 seconds left, we get the ball. We get a quick first down. We were backed up near our own end zone. 2 seconds left on the clock, and Marcus Randall drops back. And I'll never forget
this is a bad time to interrupt you, but isn't Matt Mock a dentist now?
He is actually the team dentist for the Denver Broncos, possibly still.
Keep going. Sorry. 2 seconds left on the clock.
Fun fact. 2 seconds left on the clock. I'll never forget Steven Peterman, my left guard, veteran O-lineman. He's a young guy. Just, hey, strap that thing up. The fans are already out of the stands. They've already poured water on the coach. People are behind us in the end zone starting to try to take the field goal post down. So we snapped the football.
Hold on, one more quick interruption.
Yeah.
Quick interruption. I'm just trying to visualize this whole thing. How much did you weigh at this point?
Oh, man, listen.
This was like big Whit, right?
Yeah, I was probably like 2 Caniac combos and a Caniac sandwich at this time. And maybe
going.
like 2 large sweet teas. But
okay, keep going. Balls in the air.
That was easy. Yeah, that was a snack. So balls in the air. I'm running down the field like towards our locker room tunnel, which is the same way we were going. Ball gets batted up in between Michael Clayton and some Kentucky defenders. Devery Henderson catches it on the run. Touchdown LSU Tigers. Jared Lorenzen, the big lefty for the Kentucky Wildcats. That's who we beat that day. We had a dog pile in the end zone. I'll never forget it. The Bluegrass Miracle, baby. It's a special game. But the other part of this, Fitz, I was at LSU USC this year. USC took us down. And I thought Caleb Williams had done it again. He'd beat the LSU Tiger. But no. The season's not over, folks. Jayden Daniels gets revenge for all of us LSU Tigers with a Hail Mary to win the game. That's awesome, man.
That was unbelievable. I will say, though, this is the stay humble moment of the week here.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Tyreek Stevenson, 29 for the Bears.
It ain't over.
He is dancing, not just dancing before the snap and taunting the crowd. He is dancing after the ball has been snapped with his back to Jayden Daniels, taunting the crowd, turns around. And not only does he realizes the play's going on. He waltzes over there. He is the one that tips the ball into the back of the end zone.
I'm guessing tomorrow there's going to be a comment where one of the coaches is going to go, next time you want to go talk to the fans, just stay over there instead of running into the plate layer and knocking the ball up in the air. Because think about it. If he just stays over there talking trash, nobody throws the ball up in the air to the receiver in the end zone. That's a bad look. That's going to be a tough one, Fitz. That is going to be a definite stay humble moment when we get to the facility tomorrow and we got to walk around and go, wait, what happened? Yeah, I was talking trash. I ran over there and swatted the ball up in the air, and then they caught it in the end zone.
I've had plenty of those moments. Tyreek Stevenson, stay humble.
We have all had them.
All right. What else? What happened tonight? Niners, Cowboys, Whit?
Oh, man. Look, I'll say this. Coming into this one, the last kind of second half of this game until the Cowboys made a little late run, I'm not going to say that I was really that surprised. I mean, you look at it, we said it all offseason long. Jerry Jones told us what they were doing, and everyone questioned it all the way around. And now you look at it, and to me, like you said this a few weeks ago, you said you didn't think the Cowboys were a playoff football team.
I did, and then we asked, does anybody else think that on the panel? Raise your hand, and everybody looked at me crazy. So,
well, here's what I'll say, Fitz. This is a little more based off of not what I think of the Cowboys, but what I think of the NFC.
Okay.
I don't think the NFC is very good other than a few teams. And then I mean, you look at it. We just saw it happen on Thursday night. The Rams, who looked lifeless 2 weeks ago, just beat the Minnesota Vikings, and now they're in it. You look at that division, they're all sitting there with 4 losses. You're sitting there going, wait, hold on. This is the NFC West? Like, one of these teams was in the Super Bowl last year and was expected to go there again this year. So when I looked at this game, I look at the Niners, to me, as they're beat up, they're injured, and as they get healthy, CMC coming back, when Christian McCaffrey comes back, they still got a lot of talented football players. They still play football in a great way. Kyle Shanahan's one of the best there is at play calling. I still think they're going to be in it. And so I didn't think the Cowboys had much of a chance in this one. I mean, I just think in the trenches up front, they're outmanned. I mean, there's enough clips on tape now. That defensive line for the Cowboys gets moved, especially without Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. I just don't think the Cowboys right now are good enough in any one area to say that they're going to compete with somebody like the Niners.
Yeah, and you could tell Zim, our guy Zim, came into this game with the plan that they weren't going to let him run the ball with all the guys at the line of scrimmage. A lot of 6-man
fronts.
Yeah, and I don't know. That was a big takeaway for me when we had the Cowboys. Was this doesn't look like a Cowboys team? They're usually great up front. They're great at protecting Dak, and they're great at getting after the passer. I know they're banged up right now, but I just don't see it. But I do want to talk about George Kittle, National Tight End Day. This dude, 6 catches, 128 yards, and a touchdown. He's the life of the party always. You saw him at the end of the game with the little ammonia smelling salt. Why are you doing that in the huddle at the end of the game? Because I'm George effing Kittle. That's why. He's always fun on our games. We love bringing him to the desk. But you want to talk about personality. He seems to always show up in prime time. And I guarantee you that Shanahan knew that it was National Tight End Day today.
Oh, there's no doubt he did. And also, I guarantee you George Kittle found him a sky camera while he was out on that field, because
he always knows where the camera is.
Seen. That guy knows where camera is at all times. But he's another one of these guys. We talked about Puka earlier. What I love about Kittle, man, is like, obviously the football player, I don't think anybody out there is going to argue with the talented football player he is. But similar to what we said about Puka earlier, the passion and energy he brings to any moment. And it's not just on the football field. I mean, you watch this guy in any room he walks in. Anytime I ever see him somewhere, the hug you get, the encounter, just the energy that dude walks around with, it's different, man. And you feel like you want to go accomplish more. And I don't care where you are or what you're doing when you're just around this dude, because of the way he responds and acts in any setting. He is one of those infectious personalities that makes any room better the second he walks in it. So there's no doubt to see somebody like him leading National Tight End Day. And also our boy T. Kelsey, Trav, got in the end zone finally this season. Of course, another guy that knows the camera well. Why wouldn't he do it on National Tight End Day, right? I mean, it's like all of them decided, hey, today's our day. Let's just go ahead and have a parade and get it done. I don't know if any group in the NFL has ever done a better job of promoting themselves, and I think they deserve it. I think the tight end position deserves all the love in the world. I mean, a tackle, that's your best friend, right? He's either chipping for me, or we're working together in the run game, or he's an extension of our run game and his blocking, and in the pass game, he's the guy that everybody, linemen especially, always feel like, man, if I just would have ate a few less Happy Meals, I could have been a tight end. Every offensive lineman and tackle thinks that. They think they're athletic enough. So we love those dudes.
But you have a career touchdown. You have one career touchdown, right?
Thank you, Fitz. I appreciate that.
I just want to throw that in. I'll say, too, I got invited to Tight End U this year.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, George threw the invite out to me. So
are you trying to take credit for today somehow? Or
so I flew out to Vanderbilt, and I threw for them for one day. The thing that I realized, there is a great bond between those guys. But the other thing that I did that I thought was smart is I put my flight for right after I was done with the throwing session, because I'm 41 years old. I can't keep up with those dudes anymore. They were going to a concert. They were going to party. They were going to bond. Not me. So let's move on from that one, because it just makes me sad that I'm old and can't party with the tight ends like I used to.
Well,
it happens, Whit. It happens to the best of us. You're old too. This, Whit, is what I really want to get to and what I was excited to talk about today. Bradley Bozeman defends Justin Herbert. So to me, this moment, and if you guys didn't see it, Bradley Bozeman sees a defensive lineman ripping at Justin Herbert's leg, it almost wrestled him like he was an alligator, certainly unnecessary. And his lineman came to his defense. So for me, before Whit, you get all high and mighty and hot and bothered.
I'm hot and bothered right now.
I would just like to say, if you want to know how good a locker room culture is, I want somebody to hit a quarterback late and just sit back and watch your team and see what happens. And I would say this, the two best locker room cultures that I think exist right now in the NFL are probably Detroit and Buffalo.
Yep.
And if you hit Jared Goff late, or if you do something dirty to Jared Goff, if you hit Josh Allen late or do something dirty to Josh Allen, I promise you it's not going to be good for you. So this was a good one to see. I'm happy to see those linemen protecting Justin Herbert.
You dang right, Fitz. I got fired up about it. You know this already, because to me, you are right. You want to tell me a guy's a leader. You want to talk to me about locker rooms and what the cultures are. Listen, the way they protect each other, the way they acknowledge each other, those are the things that really tell you what a group is. I think of even Devontae Adams' comments a week ago. One of the things he said was, guys will make a play and nobody even has an emotion. Nobody even shows a reaction. Like, what is going on? That's winning cultures. We overreact to everything. If we do anything, we're going to show you that we're jacked up for our teammates. We're hyped when they have a moment, and you better not lay a finger on them. And I learned this as a young player. We played the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. I got up on a double team and got my hands on Ray Lewis. And a young LSU Tiger, I've dreamed of the moment that I could block Ray Lewis. And I was going to try to finish him. And I got sideswiped by so many Baltimore Ravens. I thought I was getting jumped in an alley. And I'll never forget those guys screaming, "Don't you ever put your hands on Ray again." And I was like, wow, that's different. And so when I had my moments in my career where somebody hit Andy late or Carson late or any of these moments, you better believe it was going down. We about that action, boss.
No, you're the Walter Payton Man of the Year. You're a nice guy. The
only Walter Payton Man of the Year that's been ejected twice, Fitz. Don't be that. Hey, come on. Hey, it's family up in here. That's what being Walter Payton Man of the Year is about. Here's how you know this guy's about it, though. And I sent you this text earlier today. Is wifey, I'm assuming it's wifey, Miss Bozeman, I'll put it that way. She got on Twitter and said, yeah, you dang right. Like this guy got exactly what he deserved. And so when the significant other's on there and she's saying, we bought this, that, you know, that's a football family right there. And that's what I loved. I love seeing an O-lineman do that, but I love seeing that even the family's in on that.
That's culture.
You know Melissa Whitworth.
Oh, my God.
And you know that Melissa Whitworth is going to meet somebody at the tunnel if it goes down like this, all right? And she's done it before, that is for sure.
Well, she just did it so Sherm's sister was getting kicked out of the stadium during our post game, and I got to see that side of Melissa Whitworth, and I never want to see it again. I'll tell you that much. Speaking of Melissa Whitworth, though, Halloween.
Oh,
we're heading out to New York City Thursday night. Will be our game, and it'll coincide with Halloween. Are we dressing up, Whit? I think we've decided we are, right?
Listen, I'm always down for a good time, Fitz. So if that's what the people want to do, that's what we're doing. And so I think we've discussed that. I think the biggest turmoil has been just like, what? I think there's been a lot of like, are we doing group stuff? Are we individually going about this? I want to be on the same page. Like, you know what I mean? So it's Halloween in New York City. It's going to be a big deal. I'm definitely coming in ready to go.
Okay, so the whole group thing just throws everything off because we've got one girl, 4 guys, you know, is it Wizard of Oz? It's just stuff we don't want to do. So that all got thrown out. So I think what we ended up deciding was we are going to pick one of our favorite players and the outfit that he has worn before a game. Okay. We are going to try to replicate the look. So I'm not saying we're doing this, but guys like Joe Burrow comes in styling and profiling all the time. Stefan Diggs is the same way. So I think the 4 of us guys are doing that and duplicating a look, but you'll have to tune in Thursday to see what that look is and who it is of.
Who do you think I'd pull off the best, Fitz? Do you have somebody? Is there a lot of bald, beautiful, bearded, sexy men playing in the league right now? Or no?
There aren't a lot in this world, but you are certainly that, Andrew. You are certainly that.
Just wondering.
What about Halloween with you and the kids. So for those of you who don't know, Whit's got 4 children, very, very active in the community. And Melissa Whitworth knows a thing or two about celebrating holidays.
Stop, Brian. You're going to get me hot and bothered again because I'm going to see my bill for my house decorations. I would say, over the years, it's changed a little bit. We used to do some group costumes. We've had some fun with that as the kids were smaller. Now they're too old and too cool. We've hit the teenager stage, and it's like, Dad, I'm not dressing up the same as you. Like, yeah, I'm going to rock with my friends, and we're going to rock outfits together. So, now Melissa and I just dress up as weird stuff. As we're that weird couple that shows up at a Halloween party and just whatever it is that we choose. But I would say this: do you feel like Halloween? I don't know. Maybe it's because now we're adults, so we feel like we get involved. Is it more adult or kid? Like, what do you think Halloween's really about now?
Well,
I think it's more adult or more kid.
My family's a little bit different because Liza, my wife, always takes the little kids trick-or-treating. We've got a range of kids from 17 to 5. And so what I've done over the last few years, I do my own haunted house. We black out the porch. We have the black lights. We have the strobe lights. And now my older kids get involved. They're my jump scarers. And so since we'll be gone on Halloween, I've got to have a run through to teach my kids how to do all this stuff. And so on Tuesday of this week, we're going to invite everybody over. Once it gets dark, we'll have the candy out, and I will be scaring the bejesus out of mainly teenagers. But we've got a system, green light, yellow light, red light, in terms of who you can scare and how bad you can scare them. There's a lot of fake blood. There's a lot of strobe. There's a lot of black lights. There's a lot of gore. We've got an alien scene. It's a sight to be had, and it is my favorite holiday.
I'm going to ask you this based off the lights. So I'm assuming that means age groups, how old somebody is, how mature you think they are, whether they can handle certain levels of being scared. So how old do you think is too old to be walking around trick-or-treating? Because I'm wondering what green light, what is that age?
Yeah.
group?
So I'm okay. I'm okay if you're in high school and you're still trick-or-treating, because for me, I'd like for you to go a little bit later. I'd like for the kids to have the first crack at it. But I do like anything that gets kids out of the house that doesn't involve their cell phone. So I'm okay with it. And that's part of the reason we do the haunted house every year, is to get the teenagers to come by and have some fun. But those are all the green lighters for sure. And they're very good at the end of the night. You do the candy dump in the pillowcase, and they're always happy.
I got one more for you. You're making me think about this. So I think this comes down to Halloween integrity to me. Okay. Whether you're really about it. Hypothetical situation. The Fitzpatricks are all going to New York City this week. Okay. With us to our game. You're not going to be home. Or you had a party that night, so you're not going to be at the house. Right. Are you still leaving candy for people who might come by Halloween night? How do you position? What is your feeling on that?
100%.
That's what I want to know. I want to know people that aren't home. Do you still leave candy for trick-or-treaters?
Here's what I would do. I'd leave the light on. Okay. I would have a bin of candy sitting on a chair, and then I would have one of my mannequins sitting opposite the door looking at the candy. And just have that mannequin sitting there nice and still. Leave a sign that says, "Take one, please," or maybe take a handful. And I think that would do the trick. I'm
going to tell you, this is why I'm going to have to work till I'm 95. Well, I'm too big to live that long. For the next ever how many years I'm on this planet. My wife, not only do we pay for, you've seen our Halloween decorations. She loves to have a good time. She wants the whole neighborhood to feel good. We have actually paid for people to sit at the door if we're not home and hand out candy. Like, hey, babysitter, hey, you know what? Do you have to be free Halloween night?
Like, what is that even?
Can you, we're not going to be home, but we want people to be able to get candy when they come to our house. It's like if you're going to decorate your house and it's going to look like Halloween, you got to give out candy, Fitz. I'm just saying. Or either that or you just did it for yourself.
Yeah. I don't know.
You have to give out candy. You got to hand out candy.
Seems like a bit. I agree. You have to hand out candy. I don't think you have to pay somebody.
Fitz, it's without question a bit much.
Okay. Yeah. But I know you're pushing the blame elsewhere.
I'm in support.
Final thoughts before you sleep in the guest room tonight. Whit. Anthony Richardson. I didn't know if this was real or not, and then I found out it was real. He comes out of the game today, not because he's hurt, but because he's winded. Now, before I get your thoughts, as a quarterback that ran a little bit in his day and a quarterback that wasn't always in tip-top shape, I needed some extra cushion. Whit. I can't say I ever had to come out of a game because I was too winded. I might have had to have somebody else call a play once or twice. I'm not proud of it. They read my wristband. But never did I have to take a play off because I was out of breath. You?
You know better than to ask me. But listen,
have you ever heard of that?
I've never
like
heard
for a
of it.
receiver, sure, whatever, I get it. But for a lineman,
it's a new generation. It's a new generation. Here's what I would say. What I think is even funnier than just the fact that he would do it. All right, it's very, yes, people go, man, these kids are built different, or how they think's different. Not that it's a negative, but just that they're all different. Every year it's a new age group, new way they've come up playing the game. What I think is like the funniest part is that when asked about it, I feel like even if I had done that, like, I'm never going to let, the truth get in the way of a good story. Like, I was lie, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, no, listen, banged up, needed the knee checked. I mean, I thought him answering the question was the funniest part. Oh no, just tired, boss. Like, just like what? Like, I'm just tired.
No, I lost a contact.
I'm just tired.
I would have lost a contact or something. Yeah.
I thought my tooth was loose. Something. But he was just like, no, I was tired. Like, really, honestly, just way out of breath.
Yeah, I'm sure Joe, sitting on the sideline cold, appreciated that one. Yeah. What about, I didn't think this was real either. And I kind of feel bad because I know somebody spent a lot of time on it, but the Dwayne Wade statue. Did you see it?
Oh, man. I did, Fitz. I saw this. I saw it. I actually had this question. I asked my wife this. I said, so we've seen this happen a few times now. It's not the first time.
Right.
That somebody's gotten a statue or an event and you've been like, whoa, like that doesn't look like it's up to the standard of like what that person deserves or it looks like them. Like when you're doing a statue for somebody, like there's not a process of somebody that's involved with the family or somebody to like, hey, is this like, are you guys happy with this? Because did you see when he walked up there, he's literally like, this is great. Who's that?
Well, I felt bad. I felt bad for him to be in that situation, but like it looks, I mean, to me, it looks exactly like Morpheus, like from the Matrix. That's what I saw. But yeah, at what point is that like you kind of put it off in school till the last minute, you procrastinated and then you did it and you didn't have time to fix it? Or because it has to be like a mold or something, right?
I'm guessing that like, at some point in the process where you're doing the head or doing the face or anything that like somebody's going to actually care that much about, how is there not a process of like, hey, is everyone content with this? Right? Yeah.
I mean, I thought the body was too thick too, and I can evaluate a good male body. Yeah.
I mean,
they got the number right, at least. That was good.
Well, listen, the guy definitely deserves a statue. I'll put it that way, Fitz. Let's end it at that. I mean, Dwayne Wade, one heck of a player, amazing player. And hopefully, maybe as he gets a little older, the statue will look a little more like it. That's my guess. He'll start to mold himself into the statue, maybe. But Fitz, here's the thing, bud. Do you know what we just did?
We just did our first episode.
That's it, baby. Episode 1 in the bag. We did it. Great job, dude.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks for doing it with me. This is really fun. It was a good time hanging out with you, man. Showing a little chance.
White Bengals, man. You're a true friend. I do enjoy talking to you. Hopefully people enjoy listening.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. I can't wait to keep doing this every week with you. It was a blast, man. So thanks for everybody for hanging out with us for episode 1 of Fitz and Whit, a Wave Sports and Entertainment original. Subscribe, follow, and we will see you next Monday.